Navigating through the energies of New Earth is not an easy process and can become extremely overwhelming at times. As we all ascend into higher frequencies, we're all being guided to embrace our own unique divine pathway, a pathway created in the vibration of love. Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within and understand the message being shared even greater. When you live in the frequency of love, there is no competition, so Carrie will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will bring forth wisdom and knowledge she knows should be shared on a global level. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners to see what message Spirit wants to share with all those listening in for the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Vibe Nation Radio on this beautiful Monday afternoon. It's so beautiful here in Oakville right now. We're near Toronto, Ontario. A little chilly out, but the sun is shining, and it's a beautiful day to really get in tune with who you are. And Spirit guided me last week to come on with Spirit, obviously, and talk about what is currently happening energetically wise here on Gaia. So I chose to call this show, Oh My God, What the Bleep is Going On? Because I know personally with the amount of emails I've been receiving, clients that I've been working with, a lot of people are having difficulties navigating through the energies that are currently being shone upon Gaia. And it's many different things. It's not just about the universal energies. It's also about the global energies that are taking place, which are causing a lot of people to, let's just say, not be in alignment with who they truly are at a soul level. And for those that have been following the Vibe Report, you know that we actually had a reset yesterday. And the reset is basically, in a nutshell, where the universe has reset who we are at a vibrational level, that all of us should be in attunement with who we are, but it's living in 3D, 4D, and transferring and shifting into 5D. One of the biggest things that I really have to say with regards to what people are saying out there is that, my friends, we cannot live in 5D. And this is a big thing that is going around out there on social media, that we're going into 5D, we're going into 6D, we're going into 12D, you know, and it just goes on. And we can align with those vibrations, but we can't live it. You know, we're here in a 3D reality, which is planet Earth, and we also have the ability to tap into 4D, which is where the vibrations of Gaia is right now, and 5D is higher self, spirit, and above. So when you're tapping into 5D, you're tapping into it. You're not living there. If you're living in 5D, guess what? You're not alive, plain and simple. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people are confused about that. They're like, Carrie, what's 3D, 4D, 5D? Look a little deeper into this, my friends. The 3D energies are the lower vibrations, the fear, the worry, the doubt, the pain, the sorrow, and all that other yucky stuff that we all have, because we are soul having a human experience. And with the body, the vessel that we have something called the ego. We also have an aura, which has energy fields, which emotions and mental and physical and etheric and, you know, spiritual. There's many different levels to different energies that we actually have within us. And, excuse me, as we're shifting, we want to be in alignment with 4D, tapping into 5D, and of course we will shift into 3D when we have those moments, because again, we are having a human experience, which comes with emotions and feelings. You know, when someone says I live in 5D 24/7, I'm sorry, call BS on that one, because it's not possible, my friends. And it's something that frustrates me as a medium, because I understand the spirit world. I understand 5D because I am a medium. And I know, and anyone who knows me well enough knows that if you go into 5D for too long, you're not functional. It's you know, this is when you go into meditation and you're shutting down your mind. And Of course, those that know me, here goes Jerry Bird. He's going to start to yap because he wants to get involved in this. And this is the way the energy works, especially in my house. The animals start to go a little crazy when the spirits start to show up. So this is the 5D that's kicking in right now, but I can't live in 5D. They're not functional. Now, a very easy way to explain all this, I want you guys to have fun, because at the Vibe Report, we do have fun. This is a very complex process that we are all going through. No one on this planet has ever gone through this process before. We've always lived in 3D matrix energy, and over the last, 4, 5, 6, yes, the energy's been shifting, but it's only been recently where it's really started to become very intense, where Gaia is in a 4D vibration. Now, if you don't know what 3D, 4D, and 5D is, I will actually make a post on my Facebook wall with the Abraham Hicks emotional scale, which is very easy for you to work with, because when you're in 3D, like I said, it's pain, worry, sorrow. Those are the lower vibrations. When you're in 4D, you're positive. You believe in what is taking place. You are hopeful and you're content. And when you're in 5D, it's all about the joy, the love, the happy, joy, passion, enthusiasm. And yes, we can be there, but again, we can't live there, my friends. So I want everybody just to stop and think about it this way. This is a very easy way to see this. See yourself as a tuning fork, okay? And if you don't know what a tuning fork is, please Google it. This is an easy way to understand this. Every single person, every single animal, every single piece of nature, we all have our own tuning forks, okay? So what has happened on the reset, it's almost like God or whoever you believe in has reset your tuning fork. And when you're on your tuning fork, you want to make sure that you're in the middle of the prongs, which is where 4D is. 5D would be the handle. And then as you work up the prong, you go from 5D to 4D to 3D. And if you're at the top of the prong, which is 3D, what happens when, a tuning fork gets a little out of whack? It starts to wiggle back and forth. You can see the energy. The end of it starts to shift, and it starts to go back and forth. Well, somebody who's in 3D, that's what's happening. They're wigging out because they're not getting in tune with who they truly are. And this is a self-journey. No one can do this for you. You can read, watch, listen to tons of people. This is to educate you, to help you on your own unique journey, because everyone is here on their own journey. We're all here on a sacred journey back to one. And yes, we have common denominators. However, our path is not the same as the person standing beside us or the person down the street or a relative or a friend. And if you are in divine union, look at it this way. You are one giant tuning fork with you and twin, okay? This is that frequency that you share. You share that exact same frequency. So you're one giant tuning fork, but within the tuning fork, there's two other tuning forks, which is you and twin. You're still responsible for your own physical vibrations. You're not responsible for twin. This is about you on your own sacred journey. And if you understood this, you would understand that you're energetically already connected to them. However, when the flips kick in, which is something that I talk about, we've been talking about for probably over a year now in the Vibe Report, it's when those two tuning forks, so if you are a twin, the two tuning forks, one of them might be up in 3D and wigging out, going back and forth, and the other twin is stationary. They're like, I'm doing good, like I might go into 3D, but I don't live there, but my tuning fork is basically in 4D. And what will happen is if one is completely out of whack, the bigger tuning fork cannot stay in frequency. So what happens is the energy flips between the twins so they can help one another. And that's the beauty about being in divine union, that you do have someone to help get yourself aligned with the vibrations, but they can't crawl into your head and make you think otherwise. And as you can hear, Jerry Bird loves that answer. And it's allowing everybody to understand that you control your own vibrations, no one else. Okay, so when you think about the reset and all of a sudden your tuning fork was realigned in the frequency of love to live in 4D energies, to live in a 3D reality, you're going to start to notice that beautiful things start to take place, that this is about living in the moment. If you are wigging out too much in 3D energies, chances are you're either living in the past, you're living in the future, and what's happening is you're spinning out of control, and most people have expectations and assume what is going to take place down the road. And this, my friends, is very, how do I want to say this? Very damaging to the soul, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment. We are now in the new earth, and the new earth does not work the way the old earth works with regards to energy and vibration. And because there's so many people on this planet, think about how many tuning forks are truly in alignment with who they are. Just stop and think about that for a moment. Yes, the animals and the plants and the trees and the nature, they're already in alignment. That's why they say go outside, spend time in nature. They're already in tune with this vibration, and you want to align with that vibration. And, if you turn around and think about, if you live up north, think about how many thousands and thousands and thousands, it could be millions of tuning forks, because every strand of grass is also a tuning fork. Look at your front yard or your backyard. How many pieces of grass do you have there? Millions. So there's millions of little tiny tuning forks that are allowing us to align with this vibration. But most people don't understand that, by doing the blame game or blaming others, or it's this way or that way, or, when you start to really focus on duality, it throws your tuning fork out of place. And I think during the commercial break, I'm going to put Jerry Bird to sleep because he's getting all excited about this. And it's simply because the spirits are here with me right now, and they want to get a little bit deeper after this commercial break, because I know we're coming up to a commercial break, so I won't dive into what they're telling me right now. So during the commercial break, think about it. Where are you in tune with your own tuning fork? And when we get back, I will continue on with this conversation. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today I am talking about, oh my God, what the bleep is going on. And before the commercial break, I was talking about the tuning forks. And those that are having difficulty visualizing this, I will post this on my Facebook wall so you can see it up front and see where you want to keep yourself in balance, because we're really playing the new game of life, my friends. And the new game of life is about feeling your way to where you're going. It's not about thinking. Yes, you still have to think. Don't get me wrong here, because if you feel too much, you could be too much in 5D, which can cause you to go into fantasy land, not into reality. So when you're feeling, this means that you feel those beautiful feelings inside of you. So say you went out and you had a wonderful day and you had this beautiful moment and you're like, wow, this feels so amazing. Bottle that feeling up so that when you have a moment and you start to wig out or the energy becomes too much, close your eyes and bring yourself back to that moment of the feeling, not the experience of what took place, the feeling that you felt. Because what you're doing, we are feeling people, we're vibrational people. And when we speak to spirit, we speak to the universe through our vibrations. So if you're feeling love and compassion, and it is in balance with common sense and logic, this is going to allow you to live in the moment a little bit more, because we really want to live in the moment, because the moment is really all that we have. The past is gone. It's done. And right now we've got so many planets in retrograde, and I'll get into that in a second, which are stirring things up at a soul level. And, that's why I tell people, live life like a sunset. Don't have expectations. Don't assume what is going to take place. Yes, you can have that beautiful feeling of how this is going to happen, but don't expect certain things, because this is where people truly start to disappoint themselves. And I've been hearing this for 10, 20 years when I do readings with people that, oh my gosh, Carrie, everything you said took place, but it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. And that was because you allowed your ego to get involved, which I call the boys, and to dictate to you how this was going to take place. And, and a lot of times when you do this, my friends, maybe you could get to destination A to B really quickly, but you allow the boys to come in and the ego to take over, and now you're going A, B, C, D, E, F, G instead of A, B. And if that's the case, it's a life lesson. You're being drawn down that path for a reason. But, look at the basics, my friend, like the law of attraction. The law of attraction is that, you attract that which is in the same vibrational match as yourself. So what is happening, a lot of people are saying, with regards to relationships, that's a big thing right now. I desire this or desire that, and this is what I want. And, stop and ask yourself, are you in that vibration of that which you're trying to co-create into your life? Because if you're not, you can't attract that into your life. That's why a lot of people, when it comes to relationships, it's repeated patterns that they meet someone and whatever goes down, and then they meet someone else and the same stuff goes down, and the next person they meet the same stuff, and it gets more intense and it happens faster. It's because you didn't take the time to reset yourself. Again, this is the point of the Vibe Report. Like, we think very simple, and we don't like complex stuff at the Vibe Report because life is too complex as it is. You have to laugh and have fun and say, okay, is my tuning fork in attunement with who I truly am? And, be honest with yourself, my friends, because right now we've got the re-team, is what I'm calling them. All the re's are coming out. And this is helping you align with who you are, especially during the month of April. I've been told that, basically April is helping us to get tuned with our in alignment of who we truly are at a soul level. And it's almost like we're in a slingshot. And what they're doing, they've been pulling us back all month with all of these retrogrades that are taking place. And they're going to be in for a while. I'll talk about this in a moment. But then in next month, the universe is going to let go of the slingshot, and you're going to fly into May and see it as like a skipping stone. May, June, July, and then August we land. So you're throwing, the universe is throwing you out into the water, and you're skipping through the next few months to really ground yourself in August. Because right now, what are we dealing with energetically? We're dealing with solar winds, which solar flares, they affect us. And if you're in tune with the actual energies, you will feel this as they take place on the sun. You don't have to wait a few days for them to arrive to be able to feel it, but you will feel the intensity as the energy gets closer to Gaia, because you are in alignment with energy. So as the energy hits Gaia and it freaks everyone else out and they start to wig out and they don't know what's going on, you will be affected by that, because you are one tuning fork within a sea of tuning forks. And this is the purpose of the channel saying, keep yourself in alignment. It starts with you and it ends with you. You can help guide people. You can help give them words of wisdom. But at the end of the day, if they don't do the soul work themselves and work on themselves, which most people don't want to do the work, nothing's going to change. We talk about all these big, portholes that are coming in and on this date and that date. Yes, they're there for you to tap into. But if your tuning fork is not in alignment with the energies that are actually present for you to tap in to become a stronger soul, it won't do anything. Like be honest with yourself, my friends. How many of you have gotten fixated on a date or fixated on a porthole that's opening up and thinking, this is it, this day's going to come. I'm going to wake up the next day and I'm going to live in a brand new world. And then that day comes and goes and nothing happened. And then you start to think there's something wrong with you because you're thinking, oh my gosh, all these people are talking about this and that. And yet, I'm not there. Is there something wrong with me? No, there's not, because every single person in this here on this planet is going through this. And people that know me personally know that I don't like to sugarcoat things. That yes, there's these beautiful energies there to tap into, but we also are here to learn. We're here. This is the new game of life. Is we're here to school. We're here to learn, become a more powerful soul. And with all the reads that are taking place, like let's just talk about some of the. I'm not an astrologer, and I don't claim to be an astrologer, but as somebody who lives, breathes spiritual, I need to be in attunement with what's happening in the universe, the cosmic, universal energies that are taking place. So I do educate myself about them. I do know about them, but I'm not an astrologer, so I can't get deep into it. And that's why I have Chris. Chris will be on the show next week, and we'll be talking about what's happening astrologically. But, right now we have Jupiter that has gone into retrograde, and that went back in February 6th, and it's going retrograde until June 9th. Now, I'm not going to get deep into Jupiter, but Jupiter represents the solar plex. Who am I? So right now what's happening, the universe is pulling us back to remember who we truly are, to revisit, to realign. What have you done in this lifetime that has given you the stability or the foundation that you have? What wisdom and knowledge do you have that can help others through this transformational time here on Gaia? Okay, then we've got Saturn that's in retrograde, and that's from April 6th until August 25th. And Saturn is connected to the root chakra or the base chakra. So this is about building your foundation. So you put the two of them together. So we get Saturn and Jupiter saying, who am I and where's my foundation? And then we've got Pluto that just went into retrograde on the 19th, and it's there until September 28th, my friends. So again, this is a process that we're all going through. And I don't want you guys to set yourself up for disappointment because this is going to take time. And when you think about Pluto, Pluto is making you go within deep. It's about, clearing and healing the emotional and the spiritual energy that is there. And Pluto can bring you to some pretty dark places, and it's the furthest planet out. So here we have the furthest planet out, and then we have the two largest planets in the solar system as well that are affecting us. And then we're going to throw Mercury retrograde on top of that. And Mercury retrograde started on April 8th, and it's going till May 3rd. The shadow doesn't come out until May 21st. So basically with shadow, my friends, it just means that if you're starting something brand new, never done it before, wait until after the shadow. If you've already worked on it or you're working with it or you're doing it right now, just wait until May 4th to, I'd say 3rd or 4th to really start to step forward again. Just because with the Mercury retrograde, we know it's about communications. I'm sure a lot of you are dealing with this. I mean, my laptop fried last week. My car went down. My vacuum cleaner, my cell phone, you name it. Everything's kind of gone in this retrograde. But it's almost like a reset. Spirit's like, you know what, Carrie, get rid of that laptop. The energy that you've been using for the last 4 or 5 years, got to go. Boom, we're going to blow your laptop up. And that's exactly what they did. Yes, I was able to pull information off of it, but it was almost like the universe was saying, let's start new. Let's start fresh. Let's start moving again, Carrie. And, when you turn around and you put all of this together, so all these retrogrades, which is the re-team, which is allowing you to realign with who you truly are, this is a time where you want to go deep within and do the soul solitude. Yes, you want to go out there and be, human and enjoy life, but make sure you take the time for yourself, because if you don't, your tuning fork will go completely out of whack. Think about this. I've done this on a show before. Just look around where you are right now, wherever you are, and, admire the plants, the animals, or anything that's in your view. Now, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to get in tune with the energy, the little tuning forks that these plants and animals are that are around where you are. And you'll see it. You'll actually be able to feel it. This is a way for you to get in tune with the energy around you. Like, so if you're out let's say you're out with a group of people, and the energy is becoming a little overwhelming for you. Take a deep breath and observe what's going on, and then close your eyes and ask your higher self, where are the higher vibrations? Who's the lower vibrations? And I guarantee you'll start to feel it. It's a really cool experience when you start to tap into oneself, to realize that, you're going to attract, yes, you might go to an event and you're not physically connected to these people, but they're now in your energy. So, those energies, if they're not in tune with who you are, will either wig you out. You might start to feel ill. This is a big thing I'll talk about in the next segment. But, this is about you saying, you know what? No, I'm not going this route. And it's okay to say no. We're here in the new. We've never been here before. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen next year. This is about where you have to have the faith and believe in yourself, knowing that you are in alignment with who you truly are at a soul level, and that by throwing out those beautiful vibrations of beauty and it's like, oh, that feels so good, the universe can pick that up and say, oh, now we know what she desires. But I'm not putting expectations or assuming how that vibration is going to enter my life again. I allow the universe to work with me. And allowing myself to be available is also a really big thing, my friends. Make yourself available. If you're living in the moment, you're available. If you're living in the past, you're not. You're dealing with too much crap from the past. If you're dealing with the future too much and you're aligning, you're like, oh, this is going on, that's going to happen, and this is going to take place, and that's going to take place, stop and ask yourself, why are you doing that? Because tomorrow is not promised. I see this all too often, that people, I'm waiting for this person to get their shit together. Pardon my French. And, 2, 3, 4, 5 years pass. Like, are you still going to wait for that person to get their shit together so that they can be in alignment with who you are? No. You're going to focus on yourself. So stay tuned, and when we get back, I will turn. Thank you much.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon enough, it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager, too. When he moved in, I became his cook and even his nurse. But no matter what roles I play, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the roles you play. So to help, we created aarp.org/caregiving, where you can connect with experts and other caregivers. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today I've been talking about, oh my God, what the bleep is going on. So as we've been talking about the tuning forks, just look at it this way. We have all these astrological energies that are working with us right now, and we have the solar winds or the solar flares that always add things. Right now it's the solar winds, but the solar flares do come as well. And then we have things like CERN that are messing with the energy. And then we just have every single person on this planet that's a tuning fork. How many of them are keeping themselves in alignment in that 4D vibration? Just think about that. Not many. Okay, so again, it might be difficult for you guys to understand about these tuning forks, but when somebody is up at the top of the prongs, where the vibration is the highest, where it's shooting back and forth, if somebody's in 3D for too long, what happens to them? They get depressed. They, become suicidal. They, don't love themselves. They go into bed and they put the covers over their head, and they don't want to deal with life. So, you do want to reach out to these people if they are of, your soul family or someone that you're connected to, and try and explain to them. But again, if this person is really asleep, don't waste your breath, my friends. Just say little things to say, you know what? You're such a beautiful person. Let's go out and go for a walk. You know, get them outside, get them out in nature, allow them to get in tune with the nature energy that's taking place. Because when you think about the global energy of what's happening right now, the bulk of the people on this planet are not in the vibration of love. They're in the vibration of fear. So think about how many, 7 billion tuning forks going off, and how many of those are truly in alignment with 4D. Again, it speaks for itself. And right now, we're all being tested to the core. And one thing that I have noticed is that as you're shifting into vibrations, please be aware and pay attention to your physical body. Your body will speak to you. It will tell you what is going on at a deeper level. So this is where you want to understand the chakras. And again, I'm not going to get too technical with this. Let's just talk about the 7 basic chakras, okay? So if all of a sudden you're finding, one of the biggest things I'm finding that people are going through is this nauseation, feeling ill. They feel like they have morning sickness, even though they know they're not pregnant. Even men are having this. And it's almost like, this is where your solar plex is realigning with itself, and it's making you feel ill because you're going into higher frequencies that you haven't been before. And again, we're bringing ourselves to 4D. That's why the heart is 432 hertz. You want to be able to be in alignment with the 4D, because that's the only way. You can't live in 5D. I spirit's up my butt right now about this, that we can go into 5D, meditate, do what we need to do, but then we have to come back into our reality. So when you think about the amount of people right now that are not really working with the energies and they're going against it, they're going to have back problems. They might have hip issues. They might have bowel issues. Just think about, that's the root chakra, working with the solar plex. So your stomach, you're not eating well, you're not feeling well. The Kundalini energy is really rising right now. And if you're opening up your higher chakras and aligning those, you're going to start to get headaches. You're going to start to get, sinus infections or throat infections if you're not speaking your truth. So when you have a physical element that is not in alignment with feeling great, stop and ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? And do your own research. Go online and Google chakras and find out what chakra is causing, what chakras align. Again, just look at where the chakras are aligned in your body, and that will give you a better understanding of what chakras you're dealing with. But most people, I'm sick again, or I've got a headache, and they don't stop and ask themselves, why? Why do I have a headache? Maybe it's because you're in alignment with 4D and tapping into 5D, but everybody you're around with all day long at work is in 3D. Well, what's going to happen? Your tuning fork is going to start to go into those vibrations because you're around all these people that are wigging out in 3D. You will be pulled into that. You can try and keep your grounding and balance by protecting yourself, and everyone has their own way of protecting. Okay, you could call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. You can call in Divine White Light. Again, I'm not here. Do what you feel is best for you, whoever you work with, whoever you believe in. This is about your beliefs, no one else's. At the end of the day, it starts and ends with you. So now Spirit is here right now, and they're saying that, we've all got these spiritual tools that we have, and they're saying use those modalities to help yourself in this time. Because at the end of the week, right now we're in a drop zone is what I call it, where the energy shoots up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's very difficult to stay, balanced when the energies are all over the place. And this has been a pretty intense drop zone that we've been in, I think, since the 22nd we started. And it ends on the 28th with the new moon. And when you think about it, though, when you're in these drop zones and we're going from 3D energy to 5D energy and they shoot back down to 3D, almost 2D, this is not easy on the soul. And when you think about what's happening on a global level, so again, we have astrological energies that are affecting us. We have the global energies that are affecting us, which is probably, for most people, the bulk of where a lot of this fear is feeding from. Because if you allow others to, sit there and play the blame game for an hour, like if you sit there and listen to somebody and all they're doing is pointing the fingers at somebody else and blah, 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 and they're blaming everyone else, guess what? You're in that energy too, my friend. So you better have yourself protected, or this is going to start to change your tuning fork. Your tuning fork is going to be in balance at 4D, and all of a sudden you're going to start moving up the prong and you're getting closer to 3D. So just remember this, for every 1 minute someone thinks negative, talks negative, or listens to somebody else being negative within their field, that's 5 minutes of positive thinking you need to do to be able to clear that up. Think about that. 1 minute is 5 minutes, so 5 minutes is 25 minutes. How many times have you got on the phone with somebody, or you've talked to a relative or a friend and they're going through some crazy stuff, and you're on the phone with them for hours? Guess what? If you're not protecting yourself, you will start to bring in that vibration, and it might start to take place in your own reality. This is about the law of attraction. And the law of allowing is also a very big law, that universal law that I truly don't believe too many people understand. And I'm not going to really get into this right now, but again, just remember, you can't change someone else's perspective to who they are. They need to be able to change it themselves. But you need to be able to keep yourself in tune with who you are. And when other people say, well, this is the way you should do it, or this, there, and that, this is the way it's happening there. Every time you allow somebody else's perspective to change, it's going to affect your own, soul path. So keep your I tell people, keep your kaleidoscope where it is at the morning. When you wake up in the morning and you throw out that intention and you're grateful that you're here and you're feeling those vibes like, oh, I feel so great when I feel this and this and this. Bring it on, spirit. You're focusing on who you are and where you're going. You've got your kaleidoscope set to where you're going. But ask yourself, again, do this as an exercise. How many times during the day does somebody else's words or views change your perspective and throw you off track? I guarantee you a lot of you are still doing that. And again, this is a process, my friends. The colors and the law of allowing that I teach is something that I will be teaching with the OMTimes experts, webinars that are coming up. I'm going to start launching them next month, working behind the scenes very hard on this to get this together for you all. But I just want you to understand that what we're dealing with right now, it's not just you. This is about us as a collective, as a planet, that Gaia is getting aligned with who she is. The animals in the nature kingdom, they're all getting in tune with their tuning forks. And then you got all these people running around, and they're trying to get in tune with their own tuning forks. And again, if you are in divine union or a twin, you've got one big tuning fork that has two little tuning forks within it. So because we vibrate at a much higher frequency than the average person. Okay, and it's for a reason, so that we can tap into this, that we can see clearly. We're at a time now, like next month, we're going into Atlantis energies. So when we tap into Atlantis energies, I'm not picking up it's all about the love. It's all about the wisdom and knowledge that you have from past lives that will start to download. That you have to be at a certain frequency in order for this to take place. If your soul is not in a 4D vibration most of the time, then you're not going to be able to access this information, because it's at a higher frequency within the soul, which is in your DNA. So it's already in you. So your DNA, your 12 DNA strands, is what's lighting up this wisdom and knowledge that already lies within you. And so many people, especially those in divine union, are sitting here waiting for twin to show up, not realizing that they can't do, you can't force, you can't crawl into the body of your twin and try and wake them up. This is something they must do. And if you're both in alignment with the same frequency, because you are the same frequency at the end of the day, that just be patient with yourself, my friends, that only you know, your soul knows. And we've got to stop prejudging people to say, well, I can't believe you're doing this or you're doing that. That is that person who's speaking to you. That's their belief. And the belief right now is something that we're trying to break, that, what has been inbred in your head? How have you been conditioned to think? How have you been conditioned to believe? And ask yourself, it's something as simple as like, why do you use the laundry detergent that you use? Chances are it's because your mother did it and then your grandmother did it. Things are changing now, but that's the way it used to be. That's not the way where we're going. Okay, this is about, no, I'm not using the same detergent as Mother Dearest used. It's because it's toxic. I'm making the choice and using this now. And this is about you creating your new soul of who you are, because now you're trusting in self and knowing that only you control your vibrations, nobody else. So I do know that right now, we're being asked to get ourselves into balance. How are you balancing yourself out? Because I'm getting right now, spirits, they're up my butt right now. They're saying that so many people that are listening to this have the tools. They have the spiritual tools to do this, but they choose not to do the work. They want to listen and they want to read and they want to get involved in all this stuff on social media. And they're not stopping and saying, why did I put so much energy into this, post? I spent 3 hours going on about this and arguing with this person or trying to show somebody else how it works or this or that, when you can't change that person. You can only change yourself. So again, just stop and ask yourself, how much energy are you giving to yourself nowadays? Because if you're not giving yourself, 5 minutes every hour or every other hour, you're going to be doing yourself a disfavor. And all you need to do, my friends, is just close your eyes. Breathe from the navel and know that this is aligning you with who you truly are. Okay? It's a spirit is saying, okay, I can hear you guys. Spirit is saying, watch for the signs. The signs are everywhere, my friends. But you just have to acknowledge them. Most people, if you're not in alignment with who you are, you might get a sign, but you might see the sign in a way that it really isn't meant to be. That's, again, assuming why you saw what you saw. Well, I assume this is what it means, or this is what it means. And how do you really know? You don't, right? So this is where Spirit is saying, be open to this magic and allow us to work with you, because we do not know what 4D magic is. We've never lived here before. We have to work with ourselves. We have to work with Gaia. We have to work with our soul family, and we have to work with our loved ones on the other side. They're the ones that are going to be able to help us with this by vibing that beautiful feeling to say, oh, this feels so good. And they're like, okay, this is how she wants to feel, but this is the magic we're going to give her, because she doesn't know what 4D magic is. She doesn't really know what she really wants because she's never experienced it before. If you haven't experienced it before, you can't create it, my friends. Okay, so this is why they're saying it's so important to find those gems. And if you don't know where to find those gems, go to my website, carrieturcott.com, roll over home, and you'll see vibrosizes. Those are exercises to help keep your vibrations in check. Do the condo in my head exercise, okay? This will allow you to find those beautiful moments. So if you're still dealing with somebody who just is somebody who won't go away, this is an easy way to help yourself. So stay tuned, my friends, and I will be back right after commercial break.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow. Manatees are unique, among the most amazing animals on Earth, but they're endangered. We pose the greatest threat to their survival. Many manatees are killed or injured by boats or other recreational activities. I'm a writer of children's books, including one about manatees, and I believe education is the key. You can be part of the solution. Please contact Save the Manatee Club right now. Call 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Welcome back to Vibration Radio, where today I'm talking about, oh my God, what the bleep is going on. So as we've been talking that our tuning forks, which is our self, is starting to get in alignment. We're dealing with the universal energies, with the Reed team, with all these planets that are asking us to go deeper within and realign with who we are, to reinvent ourselves, to know that it's there. We have the solar winds that are taking place, and we also have things like CERN that are messing with energy. So, you turn around and you think about that, and then you add the energy of the global energy, meaning how many people on this planet is their tuning fork in 3D at the top of the prongs. You will be affected by that as well. So when you're having a really, yucky moment and you're like, oh, I have no idea what's going on, stop and ask yourself, is this myself? Is this, global energy that's taking place maybe, or maybe it's universal? And you'll start to get answers when you get in tune with yourself, because your body will allow you to feel this. It speaks to you when you're actually in tune with your higher self, which, and again, you want to live in 4D, but you want to go into 5D regularly to ground and balance and center yourself, and then come back to 4D again. Again, because we live in a 3D reality. And Spirit is saying that this week, they really want people to understand that there are areas in all of our lives that are being flatlined. This is what I've been calling it, that it's getting realigned with who you are, that it's been flatlined, and the universe is saying, okay, here's the energy, let me zap you to allow you to get back in tune with who you really are. But because so many people on this planet right now are not loving life, and they're fearing, and they're like, oh my God, this is so unfair, I can't believe this is happening, that is happening. It is becoming a huge energy vortex on this planet that can suck you in the minute that you allow the boys to come out to play. As soon as you start feeling sorry for yourself, it will amplify, because now the person next door is feeling sorry for themselves, or people in the neighborhood, or people in your family, or people you're connected to. Again, we're all vibrations, my friend, and we're all connected. So Spirit is saying, just allow this new moon that's coming up on Thursday. Again, this is the end of the drop zone that we're going to get out. It's almost like they're saying it's going to light you up like a Christmas tree if you are truly in alignment with who you are. And that, again, so many people, okay, I can hear you. They're saying that so many people are, so tired of this. It's like, oh, I'm so tired of this. And we all have those moments, because we are a beautiful soul having this human experience. And, if anybody said, no, I've never said that, again, I would call BS on that one. That, again, we're here to have an experience. And when you're tired of things and you're like, oh, I've had enough, vibrationally, you're calling in more chaos. You're asking, okay, universe needs more chaos, because what do most people do? Most people focus on what they don't want instead of what they do want. Guys, start to change that. Again, you got, 1 minute of negative is 5 minutes of positive. Just do the math there. It doesn't take long to figure out that when someone starts to go on and on and on and on and on, like, people know me. If somebody turns around and starts complaining to me, I'm like, why are you being a negative Nelly? Where's my friend? Where'd she go? And people, oh, you're right. A lot of people might not have the balls to do that. They might not say, well, why are you being a negative Nelly, or a Debbie Downer, or a bitching Bob? I will speak my truth. And if I find that somebody's in that, I'll ask them, why are you being like this? Right? Because there's more to it. And a lot of times it's just a call for help from people. But again, if you're not in alignment with your true source energy, and you allow yourself to become part of the blame game, you're going to turn out that your tuning fork is going to go into 3D really quickly, and you might have difficulties getting out. Because once you're up there and the vibration is going, again, think of about a tuning fork at the very top. It vibrates the longest, and it goes back and forth, right? So until that back and forth swaying movement slows down, you're going to be in 3D. So they're also saying that, don't allow other people's stress to stress you out, because, again, a lot of people are taking on other people's stresses, or, really something that you're dealing with really has nothing to do with you, but because you're connected to somebody, you're now being pulled into it energetically because you are connected to this person. And this is where you have to take control of your own energy. And again, something very simple I say to people, if somebody's there and they're negative Nelling or a bitching Bob, put them in a bubble with glass, so that the glass is facing them on the inside. So there you are, you put them in a bubble, and you're sending them love. Don't send love daggers, my friend, because it's only going to come back to bounce you in the head. So put them in that bubble, allow them to see their own reflection of who they are, and protect yourself so that they're not feeding from your energy. Okay, this will allow them to see, oh, you know what, I am a negative Nelly. I didn't really notice that before, because we're programmed. This is the way we've been conditioned, to give everybody else our energy, and poor me, poor me, poor me. No, it's not poor me, it's beautiful me. I'm in charge of my own reality, and if I'm not loving my reality, then I need to make the change for me, for myself, right? I hear it all the time, oh, I don't have enough time, I'm working too much, I've got my kids, and did it, I'm like, so when was the last time you took a bath? 3 months ago? Really? My friends, if you are so busy during the day, and you go to bed, let's say 11 o'clock, go to bed at 10:30. Take that extra half hour for you. Go take a sea salt bath, or take an Epsom salt bath. And the only difference between the two, the Epsom salt bath will help pull out any of the dark stuff within you, the lower vibrations. The sea salts help crystallize and help rejuvenate you. So, if you're not having a good day, go home and take an Epsom salt bath. If you had a good day, take a sea salt bath. Take 5 minutes to turn around and write down whatever's in your head and take it outside and burn it and get rid of it, because you don't want to go to bed with a lower vibration, because you'll wake up with that. Okay, so, the Spirit is just saying to me, please, everyone, we're all going through this together. We just got to stand tight, and we have to get our own tuning forks in alignment with who we are. This is the easiest way to get through this, so that you're on path with where you're going. And it's almost like Spirit is saying that, we were talking about in the Vibe Report that this month is almost like a rebirth. We're rebirthing ourselves with who we are at a soul level. So we're these brand new little babies. And we don't really know where we're going, because nobody really knows where we're going, right? So this is about you trusting in yourself, and you're getting used to the energies, that you're getting used to the new way of speaking, per se. When people say, oh, you know what, we're going into 5D, how many people actually speak 5D all the time? Again, my friends, this is something that you're not going to be able to get rid of your 3D vocabulary and lose it, because your 3D vocabulary, a lot of the words in 3D, like the big H word, H-A-T, it's not, you can't bring that into 5D. It's not possible. It's just like you can't bring can't. Can't, coulda, shoulda, wanted. These are words that are 3D. They're not 5D. So, this is where I'm saying to people that don't think we're going from 3D and we're jumping into 5D and we're going into the rainbows, into the sky. You got to come back to planet Earth. Everybody is so quick to get off this planet. Like, oh, let's go see what's going on over here or over there. Stop and ask yourself, what's happening in my reality? Because you live in a 3D reality. You always have, and you always will. The only way you're going to go into 5D totally is by passing, by dying and going to the other side. And I know this because I am a medium. Okay, my friends? So please, just take time for yourself over this next week and align this, because, again, we're going into some beautiful energies to help you get moving. But if you're not in alignment with that beauty, what good is it going to do you, right? So, I just feel like Spirit is, okay, I can hear you guys. They're saying to anybody that's listening to this radio show today, if you've never been a part of the Vibe Report, or have never subscribed to the Vibe Report, and with like a 7-day free trial, please go to my website, carrieturcott.com, send me an email and say that I would like the 7-day Vibe Report trial. Okay, and it's just channeled messages that I do every, whenever Spirit tells me to do it, really. I'm a channel, so they happen when they happen. But most videos are usually 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And sometimes they're in 2 parts. I think right now we probably have about 18 to 20 hours worth of videos that are there for people to watch. And of course, when you log in, you're going to see the most recent one first. But this allows people that, if they've never followed the Vibe Report, or they don't understand my lingo, because again, we like to have fun. We don't want, life is so serious to begin with that, you want to say, oh, your ego's getting the best. If you're like, oh my God, the boys are out to play again, they're really getting the best of me. So you can laugh and joke about this, because we're here to live life. We're here to experience life. We're here to love and to be able to share this love with everyone around us. So, we want to have fun while we're doing this. And when Spirit's saying to me, oh God, we're going through another drop zone, those that follow the Vibe Report know they need to prepare themselves for this, because the energy is going to be all over the place. It's like a human roller coaster that we're on right now, and I know everybody listening in is feeling this. Okay, so when we come out at the new moon, they're saying there's beauty there. You're going to light up like a Christmas tree, but you're going to light up in the vibration in which you have done the work in. Okay, so just be aware of that, they're saying that, okay, I can hear you guys. They're saying that they want everyone to get themselves in balance right here, right now. Things that are no longer working for you, let it go. Why are you fighting it? Right? Is it worth it? Some of these people that I'm working with, and I see some of the situations that they're dealing with, and it's like, wow, but these are people that are very new to this journey. And when I think about some of these people, what they're going through, I already went through that 8, 10, 15, 20 years ago. But I've been on the spiritual path, but now the world is waking up. And we here, the light workers, the ones that are listening to this show, you would be a light worker. You wouldn't be listening to this show. So this is about you taking ownership of that light worker and say that, yes, I'm here on a mission from God. And God asked me to come here. And I agreed to come here to help raise the vibrations of this planet, to be able to allow people to be in the frequency of love. However, what happens? The ego gets involved and tries to tell you otherwise, right? So, my friends, we're all here for a greater purpose. Remember, the purpose starts and ends with you. You are the co-creator of your own reality, and that which you experience, you co-create that yourself. So if you're not happy with what's happening right now, ask yourself, what do I focus on that I don't want in my life, that I do way too much? You know, this took me about 10 years to figure this out, a long time ago. I could never figure out why every person I dated was an alcoholic. Because I kept saying, I don't want to date an alcoholic. I don't want to date an alcoholic. I don't even drink. So, you know, why am I getting these alcoholics? Because I was thrown out to the universe that I didn't want an alcoholic. So what did they do? They kept throwing me one. So I learned how to stop that. And guess what? I haven't dated an alcoholic since. So, you know, it's just, this is about you having fun with this journey and realizing that when you see yourself as a tuning fork, and, you know, you'll feel when you get a little out of wigging, when you're like, oh, I'm kind of wigging out here. You know your tuning fork is going up to 3D, and you're like, okay, I got to bring myself down to 4D. And how do you do this? You can go into 5D to be able to balance yourself out. But again, we're not living in 5D. We live in a 3D reality world where it's beautiful. So enjoy this beautiful week, my friends, and know that energy is everywhere. We're all energy. And if you want to get the 7-day free trial of the Vibe Report, you've never been a member before, please reach out to me, and I'll set that up for you. Have a wonderful week, my friends, and remember, the solar winds are in place, the re-team is in place, CERN is in place, and every single tuning fork on this planet is being aligned. Have a wonderful week, my friend, and stay in tune with who you truly are. Take care. Bye.